In the city of lights. Won't you follow me into the jungle?
Même plus tôt, le 21 août pour les insiders.
Well, Lars, it's been a pleasure. I know the community love hearing from you. Very specifically, you're a man of the people as well. Let's be very honest about this.
Thank you.
So thank you so much for joining us. We'll allow you to go away soon. But before you can leave, you have to stand here and watch with us the incredible trailer we've got lined up. Guys, take it away.
Et voici maintenant l'incroyable trailer de Battlefield 1.
The legend of Lawrence of Arabia dies tonight.
Horses, planes, trains, and Johnny Cash. What more could I want from a trailer here, Westy? That looked amazing. I know the guys online already had a glimpse of that. People were
Des chevaux,
reading into
des avions,
everything they can
des
to
trains
announce their opportunity to get
et Johnny
their
Cash.
first real glimpse of
C'était
this incredible game.
un excellent trailer. Qu'est-ce qu'on pouvait attendre de plus?
And that's purely there to show people what they can expect. But a lot of people will wait for gameplay because that's what you sit on your couch and play. That gameplay right there is representative of what you're going to get when you get your hands on the game.
And let's be honest, the Battlefield community, they take no prisoners. Don't even consider that. They know what they're in for here, and I can assure you it's a bit of a treat. And we've got some big personalities who will be able to be playing this as well. There's a lot of players coming into this. Take your pick.
Et bien évidemment,
Whoever your favorite YouTuber,
il est
your
très excitant de voir un trailer, mais il est toujours plus intéressant de voir du vrai jeu, du vrai gameplay en action.
Big Battlefield YouTuber, he's really into his weapons. He'll know which ones to pick. And then you've got somebody like Ponyline HD. He's really good in the vehicles.
Et nous avons beaucoup de monde ici pour nous présenter toutes ces nouveautés précédemment vues dans le trailer.
Both big FPS players in their own right, and I think they'll bring something different to the Battlefield today as well.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see Drunks as well, ex-Battlefield 4 pro player for Fnatic. He was a bit of a monster in his time, so he could have some fun here, but we'll see how much he's been able to put into this, because we are into it. And look how gorgeous this looks already. You can see this huge environment, and this map is
Et bien évidemment, pour vous commenter, c'est parti, je serai de nouveau rejoint par mon ami et collègue KX.
Et donc ça y est, Battlefield 1, nouvelle session de gameplay de la Gamescom 2016 qui, cette fois-ci, va se dérouler dans la carte du Sinaï, qui se situe au Moyen-Orient, dans le désert comme on peut le voir, et qui oppose l'Empire ottoman contre les Alliés.
Et qui promet d'être très différente de la dernière session de jeu qu'on avait pu voir. Hein.
Oui, avec le bâton, le dirigeable qui volait dans les airs, qui nous avait procuré de la joie, j'ai envie de te dire.
Oui, en effet. Mais du coup, là, clairement, ce qui a été dit, c'était le train.
Oui,
le behemoth, le
ouais.
mastodonte.
Tout à fait.
C'est la grosse nouveauté qui a été annoncée dans le trailer, qui a été annoncée par les producteurs. J'espère qu'on va rapidement voir voir ça, ça a l'air super cool.
Et là on peut voir le cheval, également une grosse nouveauté du jeu. Qui
Que beaucoup de monde attendait, ouais.
Ouais, exactement, tout à fait. Les chevaux ont quelques atouts assez particuliers. Par exemple, pour en citer quelques-unes, si une explosion a lieu à côté du cheval, justement ce dernier aura peur et donc aura des réactions. Donc sur le cheval, il faudra également éviter les obstacles. Ces mécaniques supplémentaires ont été justement implémentées dans le jeu afin de donner un petit côté réaliste et puis évidemment pour ajouter de la dynamique au gameplay de Battlefield et aussi se démarquer des anciens opus. Ensuite, ce qu'il faut savoir également, c'est que le cheval ne foncera pas tête baissée, par exemple, le haut d'une falaise. Je ne sais pas si tu te souviens, mais dans les anciens Battlefield, tu prends une voiture, même dans celui-ci, lorsqu'il y a des véhicules, tu fonces en haut d'une falaise ou autre et la voiture continue, puis tu
oui, et puis
voilà.
clairement tu vas où tu veux. Bon là, ça semble logique qu'un cheval ne fasse pas ça.
Voilà, donc le cheval aura quand même des réactions assez logiques. Il n'ira pas se jeter en haut d'une falaise et il refusera tout bonnement de se tuer. En somme, il peut réagir par lui-même, hein, tout simplement. Ensuite, ce qu'il faut savoir, c'est que le cheval peut traverser les eaux profondes. Par contre, il ne nage pas et il évite tout seul de gros obstacles. En fait, si tu veux, il va réagir au monde qui l'entoure également. Donc voilà, ça rajoute vraiment, c'est autre chose qu'un tank, qu'une jeep ou autre. Et puis voilà, après, le cheval a également plus de points de vie que les cavaliers. On a la possibilité justement avec le cheval de pouvoir piétiner les joueurs, d'utiliser son sabre au corps à corps, de rester à distance avec des fusils de portée moyenne et également utiliser ses grenades pour détruire les véhicules. Donc le cheval, c'est vraiment un véhicule, si on peut dire ça entre guillemets, un moyen de transport assez versatile qui nous permet à la fois de pouvoir faire du corps à corps, de la distance et aussi de faire face aux véhicules blindés.
Et qui t'offre du coup beaucoup d'options offensives.
Ouais, tout à fait, ouais.
À condition justement de pouvoir rester en vie assez longtemps sur ton cheval.
Exactement, et là, comme on peut voir, là, le cheval a piétiné le joueur. Et voilà, et donc il y a également d'autres possibilités avec le cheval. Par exemple, comme tu l'as très bien mentionné tout à l'heure, il est possible de piétiner les joueurs avec, mais aussi il sert de plateforme de ravitaillement mobile. Donc, comme tu le disais, distribution de munitions, de bandages, et il est aussi possible, comme tout autre véhicule, de pouvoir apparaître directement sur le cheval grâce à un menu bien particulier, équipement, et d'un chevaucher sur le champ de la bataille directement.
Ouais, je pense que ça va être un outil super intéressant dans le gameplay général du jeu. Après, à mon avis, je pense que c'est quelque chose qui va vraiment falloir apprendre à manier, tu vois.
Ouais.
Pour éviter justement de perdre trop facilement son cheval, savoir si tu veux jouer ton cheval d'une façon purement offensive ou si tu veux plus être en support. Donc tout dépend vraiment de comment tu voudras le jouer, je pense, mais ça va demander un petit temps d'adaptation à mon avis.
C'est ça qui est sympa, c'est que quel que soit le joueur qui aura le cheval, je pense qu'il le jouera différemment et ce sera vraiment quelque chose vraiment de nouveau qui va rajouter vraiment beaucoup de dynamisme dans le gameplay de Battlefield et ça fait énormément plaisir.
Ouais, ça vraiment ça promet du lourd.
Et donc là nous sommes dans un nouveau véhicule, encore inédit, avec un champ de mission très restreint. Tout à l'heure tu m'as parlé tu as traduit, tu as dit qu'il y avait plusieurs classes dans le jeu.
Oui, tout à fait.
Et que ces classes-là, pour y avoir accès, c'était des items que l'on ramassait au milieu de la map.
Oui, c'est ce que j'ai cru comprendre en traduisant ce que le producteur disait, qui apparemment permettrait d'upgrader en quelque sorte ton soldat.
Oui.
Et de pouvoir avoir accès à ces nouvelles capacités.
Yes. Donc tu avais dit le lance-flamme, la
Alors
sentinelle et
voilà,
le chasseur de chars.
on en avait 3, voilà, c'est ça.
D'accord.
Donc j'espère qu'on va en voir aussi assez rapidement dans le jeu, parce que c'est beau d'en parler, c'est mieux de le voir.
Tout à fait.
On les a aperçus dans le trailer par contre.
Ouais.
Bon, t'en as pensé quoi toi?
Dans le premier trailer, on a pu voir le lance-flamme. Et voilà, ça donnait directement la couleur, ça annonçait directement la couleur, ça disait que voilà, il y a des nouvelles classes disponibles dans Battlefield pour encore plus étoffer le gameplay. Et en parlant de gameplay, nous voici dans un avion, pour du dogfight, et avec un kill réalisé en avion.
bit like what you might call C4,
ça passe sur
but
autre
obviously
chose sur le
a World
sniper.
War I version of that. So it's more like a dynamite stick. And that's something that you're likely going to see in the gameplay today. Very up close and
cas, la map a l'air
personal.
d'être
You have to
vraiment
get
grande.
close to the tank to be able to get near enough to throw the dynamite.
Et beaucoup de zones ouvertes également. Hein.
So you have to be very close and sort of catch the tank unawares.
Alors, attention, on peut évidemment tuer le cheval, comme je l'avais mentionné tout à l'heure.
On the objective almost here, near that train station, try and keep this one under wraps. You're going to see, actually at the moment, it's the British Empire taking a strong lead, at least for now. The tickets don't reflect that just yet. And oh, here we go. The train has been deployed. The hype train's about to go into the station here, Westy.
Yes, this is actually a really interesting bit because even though it's a behemoth and yes, it's designed to change the game, it really depends on how you use it. If you don't use it correctly,
tu me fais penser, mais tout à l'heure tu as également mentionné qu'avec le chasseur de chars, il était possible, avec l'arme apparemment imposante, de pouvoir viser les chenilles, les mitrailleuses et les canons des véhicules, ce qui veut dire qu'il y a des loot points pour les véhicules, et je crois que ça n'a jamais été vu dans un Battlefield.
Bah, je ne pense pas en effet, et c'est là que ça devient très intéressant. Beaucoup, à mon avis, voudront justement trouver ces items sur le terrain pour essayer, si jamais ils sont en mauvaise posture face à un char ou autre véhicule, d'avoir cette classe qu'ils appellent chasseur de chars, avoir accès à cette arme et pouvoir justement se débarrasser rapidement d'un véhicule qui pose problème.
En parlant de véhicules, voici le train.
Et voilà celui qu'on attendait.
Ouais, tout à fait.
Là, on voyait un joueur qui se cachait sous un cheval.
C'est pas mal.
Ça peut être une utilisation aussi.
In my own sort of experience of looking at the games that
on
we've
peut être
seen,
jusqu'à 6 dans
players
le train.
in sort of
D'après ce qu'on
planes
peut voir dans
are
le
going
petit,
to be the best ones to sort of
la petite icône juste
eyes in the sky,
en
really.
bas
You've got people in the
de
bombers,
l'écran.
and they're the ones who can deal a massive amount of damage. If they lay down a carpet of bombs on top of that train, they're going to do a massive amount of damage.
Well, speaking of it, you highlighted Ponyline HD as one of the players you wanted to watch for this ability. He's already eyeing up that train. He knows what he wants out of this one.
Definitely, but just so we can see here, this is a really good shot of just the scale of the map as well. It's absolutely massive. It is a huge map. You can see the objective off in the middle.
On voit bien que là les avions concentrent leur puissance de feu sur le behemoth.
Oh, he's going for the repair. He feels like he's safe enough to do that.
Qui, d'après les développeurs, comme le dirigeable qu'on avait vu la dernière fois, est sûrement une arme qui peut vraiment retourner complètement la situation.
Donc rien n'est terminé, même si on est en train de perdre.
Voilà, t'es en train de perdre, tu arrives dans le train, ça peut changer la donne.
Oh, the armored train took him out completely. Wow, that really does show the power of that train there. That's something that you do have to note, though, is that people up in the planes may be the best people to try and take this thing out, but you leave yourself extremely exposed to everything else up there as well, because you're concentrating on something on the ground.
Alors par contre, j'ai pas vraiment réussi à voir le chemin qu'il suivait. Est-ce qu'il sort de la map, revient, fait un tour, est-ce qu'il recule? J'ai pas vraiment compris comment se passait son trajet.
Oh, we've got a little bit of action. Cyber Wolf and whiffs the pistol shot. You're going to get punished there. The MP18 trench gun is going to deal with you very swiftly.
They tried to go for like a sneaky melee kill, but it didn't quite pay off. And you know what? It happens to me all the time. You try and go for it, and then the person turns around at the last minute, and of course they're the ones standing there with a fully automatic weapon whilst you've got a bolt action rifle. So, and that again is the beauty of Battlefield. It's the rock paper scissors mechanic. Everything has a counter. If you're going in for the melee, you better be aware that that person could turn around at any moment, and you've left yourself extremely vulnerable. Who have we got here? This is
Elle a l'air d'être assez grande au vu du nombre de points de capture. Ils sont 7.
Ouais, il y en a 7. Ouais. C'est bien ça. Alors justement, là, j'écoutais un petit peu les commentaires en anglais. Et ce qui se disait en fait, c'est que dans Battlefield, c'est beaucoup ce jeu de pierre feuille ciseaux, tu sais, où tout peut être contré. Chaque arme a un contre, chaque véhicule a un contre bien spécifique. Il suffit juste en fait de le trouver et d'utiliser les bonnes armes, les bonnes options que tu as à ta disposition pour essayer de te sortir d'une situation dans laquelle tu serais théoriquement en mauvaise posture.
D'accord, il y a même cette ADN de match-up dans
Ouais, voilà, c'est ça.
Battlefield. C'est vraiment intéressant.
Mais on peut le voir, hein, par exemple, avec justement les fantassins au sol qui sont vraiment pris au dépourvu par les avions. Ensuite, le train arrive, c'est le train qui se charge des avions. D'autres personnes doivent ensuite se charger du train. Moi de mon côté par contre je suis un petit peu déçu, j'aimerais voir beaucoup plus de chevaux. Parce qu'on en a vu un petit peu au début, on en a plus des masses là.
Après n'oublie pas que comme lors de la première conférence, les maps sont plus évolutives.
Oui, oui aussi.
On a pu voir justement à cheval donner un coup de sabre au corps à corps.
À savoir que là en plus on n'a pas beaucoup de bâtiments, donc si les bâtiments sont détruits, ça va aller vite.
En tout cas, c'est serré entre les deux équipes. Il reste 2 minutes dans cette première manche.
120 à 123.
Vu les séquences de sniper ici. Apparemment, il y a eu 10 kills pour le cavalier. On a rapidement vu justement la petite indication qui mentionnait
le kill streak de 10.
Ah non, c'est carrément des points qui sont attribués. Autant pour moi.
Alors je sais pas si tu as remarqué également, mais le cavalier ne donnait pas que des coups de sabre, il donnait carrément des coups de fusil.
D'accord.
However, the clock is running out here. We're down to 1 minute. Actually, under that, these are the final closing moments. If the Ottoman Empire doesn't come back into this, they could be done for.
Well, looking at it now, I'd find it extremely unlikely if the Ottoman Empire really managed to pull anything back at this stage. Only 45 seconds to go. They have taken back a couple of points, but they appear to be losing them just as quickly as they're taking them. Perhaps the players on the map, their distribution isn't great at the end of the round. Maybe they're just frantically trying to catch up whatever they can. And that's again, that's part of Battlefield. It forces you to change what you're doing. Suddenly you've got to focus on something different.
Justement, j'espérais voir ce fameux cheval qu'on a aperçu pas loin, essayer de s'occuper du tank pour voir un peu comment il aurait pu s'y prendre.
He's capturing at least.
Yeah, he is
He's actually doing some damage.
He's trying to take out the one of the planes, but we are coming very close to the end of the round now. Just 10 seconds to go, and that's a nice way to finish the round. I think a good overview of the map.
Plus que 10 secondes.
First round of Battlefield 1 on the desert.
Et voilà, c'est fini pour cette première manche. À savoir qu'il s'agit de la pré-alpha de Battlefield 1 qui est présentée ici. Donc le jeu nous réserve encore pas mal de surprises.
C'était assez serré en plus.
Tout à fait, ouais.
Il me semble qu'on a encore du beau monde en train de jouer là, si je ne dis pas de bêtises.
Ouais, tout à fait, ouais. Je pense aussi qu'il y a pas mal de monde. On l'a vu justement en début de partie. C'est assez impressionnant. Après, voilà, nous sommes toujours dans la même configuration. Pas mal de youtubeurs étrangers. Et peu de youtubeurs ou de personnalités françaises. On va essayer de voir si toutefois ils arrivent à afficher le nom des joueurs.
But we didn't see a huge amount of it, and actually something that we didn't see at all was the sandstorm, and I'm looking forward to seeing that soon.
Did you just say sandstorm around Twitch chat or any other service? Because you're about to get some Darude spam, let's be very honest.
I think we are.
If it does happen, we accept our fate and we're going to go with it. But yeah, we can actually talk about the sandstorm when it happens, because there's actually a lot of different mechanics around it, because everyone who played that first map that came out through Battlefield 1 already got to see the changing environments, how the vision changed, how even sniper mechanics changed, how you wouldn't be able to see that little glistening light in the distance because of certain aspects of weather. So again, so many small pieces changed in this game. Who knows what we're going to see with that sandstorm?
It's more dynamic than I think Battlefield's ever been before, and we were talking about the destruction, you've got the weather in there, all those different weapons that can do so many different things. And you know, that's really quite exciting.
Well, speaking of quite exciting, I said it wasn't over yet. We've got just a little more time to watch a little bit more Battlefield. We've got another round coming up right about now. So guys, you're not going anywhere. You're going to be watching this one again, see what we've got coming out here. Will they be able to counter the train so readily? Or will it have more of an impact? We're going to find out any second. The teams are getting themselves ready and locked into place. What are you going to be looking out for this time?
I think I'd like to see maybe a little bit more action.
Alors apparemment les équipes se préparent pour la prochaine manche. Et bah c'est déjà parti.
Now, anyone who knows me knows I'm a ridiculous fan.
Alors comme tu as pu le voir, hein, il y a beaucoup de, il y a pas mal de nouvelles armes, d'armes nouvelles. Et ce qu'il faut savoir, c'est que ces armes-là, que l'on voit justement dans ce Battlefield-là, ce sont des armes inspirées de prototypes à destination de la Seconde Guerre mondiale. Donc c'est ce qui fait justement cet éventail de possibilités avec les véhicules comme on peut le voir ici, les chevaux, les armes, le train, le ballon dirigeable. Je pense pas que cela aurait pu être possible avec un Battlefield qui serait plutôt de notre temps.
Oui, j'imagine, mais c'est quand même super intéressant ce que tu dis là. C'est-à-dire que ce sont des armes qui ont été inspirées de prototypes
servant la Seconde Guerre mondiale. Oui,
c'est super cool ça. C'est justement, à mon avis, ce qui permet d'avoir autant d'armes possibles dans ce jeu. Et encore, je pense qu'on n'a pas encore tout vu, hein, clairement là. Il reste beaucoup d'armes à découvrir à mon avis.
Ouais, pas mal, ouais. Je pense aussi, ouais. D'ailleurs, les joueurs jouent là actuellement à la build similaire à l'Open Beta qui aura lieu, comme tu le mentionnais tout à l'heure, le 31 août sur PS4, Xbox One et PC, et voire le 21 août pour les Insiders Battlefield. Donc si toi personnellement tu as envie d'y jouer un peu avant tout le monde, va falloir que tu t'inscrives sur le site pour être un Battlefield Insiders.
Ok, et donc les spectateurs peuvent en faire de même.
Tout à fait, ouais.
Et avoir accès à ce que nous sommes en train de regarder là.
Exactement.
Et bah c'est super ça. Ça c'est de la bonne nouvelle.
Oh, we were just about. Oh, we've seen.
Ooh, have we got a flamethrower?
I think we might have a flamethrower there.
We've got to find who's that on. Hopefully.
We need to try and get some footage of that, especially not only the flamethrower, but we do
Alors,
have the sentry.
j'ai un petit peu écouté ce qu'ils disaient également pendant le récapitulatif de la partie précédente.
Oui.
Et il était dit qu'apparemment, on allait peut-être voir des modifications de météo dans cette partie-là, que nous n'avons pas vu juste avant. Et notamment une tempête de sable.
Ah oui, c'est celle qu'on voit dans le trailer, justement.
Voilà, et donc là pour le coup, ils en parlaient juste avant. Et ce serait super cool de pouvoir voir ça aussi, parce qu'on a vu pendant la dernière heure de gameplay, avec le dirigeable, tout ça. On a vu les changements météorologiques, la pluie qui arrivait, le brouillard, ça changeait vraiment la donne du combat. Pareil, qu'est-ce qui va se passer là si c'est une tempête de sable? À quel point ça va changer le cours de la bataille, alterner le paysage? Vraiment curieux de voir ça. Ouais.
Pareillement, ouais.
But back into the action, that is going to be an incredible factor if it comes in. That's actually one of the classes I've not seen yet, so I'm looking forward to that.
And I think from what we have seen of it, it's only been very brief. I mean, I did get a small chance to have a look at it, and it is a rather dauntingly sized rifle. And it can only be fired in prone.
You use it and you have to prone with it, right?
You can only use it in prone or if you prop it up against cover. You can't just be running with this thing and then fire it. It's got so much recoil to it that DICE have designed it so you can only fire it essentially with the bipod deployed.
And that's the thing that most people wanted to see is how do they kind of balance into this game? How do they work around that? And oh my word, that horse was ambitious trying to take on a tank. Surely that's not going to go well, and it didn't in the end. The tank's still rolling. He's still happy chugging along. And I don't think he even realized what happened then.
No, I mean, in many respects, like that horse is what it maybe tried to do there. It was something that.
On a vu le cheval justement qui a essayé de s'y attaquer. Il n'a sûrement pas réussi comme il l'aurait voulu, mais l'intention était là.
Exact, ouais. Et là on voit la grandeur de la map.
C'est vraiment très vaste.
And one thing I'll say actually, and I'm a big fan of this, is how good it looks when they do this. And we actually can come to a moment here that we're seeing is this kind of mantling almost, but this really quite high mantling. They're pulling themselves over this, and it comes back to this again though. The animation looks so smooth when they do this in Battlefield 1. It feels like they're actually working with the environment rather than working around it.
It doesn't feel like the environment is against you. Which is maybe something that a lot of people thought some of the older titles, where you walk up to a wall that's taller than you and you think, oh, I can get over that. And you just run up to it and sort of walk backwards and forwards, and then somebody shoots you in the back because you're not paying attention. But now in Battlefield 1, you can vault right up over that.
Non, on a
facilement rappelé les décors destructibles.
On a l'Empire Ottoman qui mène là, si je ne dis pas de bêtises.
Oui, c'est ça, 58 tickets contre 38.
58-38.
There's actually Anderzel coming out with this, so really nice work with that assault class, just running around. He's got a great opportunity. Drunks gets absolutely wrecked, and I love seeing that. Nice try, Drunks. I see why you're not in Fnatic anymore.
Yeah, he is the ex-professional. He's no longer a professional.
That's actually quite harsh. Never
mind. Hey, I'm allowed to do that. All right, you know, you got to use him a little bit. But actually, let's talk about Conquest as well and how this game mode works, and maybe some features that people don't really realize. You saw it then when the point was being contested.
J'avoue que là, de ce côté-là, le côté team play va vraiment être jouissif.
Surtout pour ce mode de jeu aussi, j'imagine. Quand la prise d'un point comme là, par exemple, le point D est particulièrement importante.
And it's almost like a little dial, and it goes one way or the other. And if the dial is sort of more one color than the other, obviously you're friendly, you're blue. So if the dial is more blue, that means that there are more of your players on that capture point. If it's more red than it is blue, then there are more enemies on that capture point. So as you can see here, we're on the antenna point, and you can see there was a lot more red on that line than there was blue, which means he's not going to take that capture point on his own, and he will simply have to fight off the people that are on it before he can start to take it.
And he's looking for high ground, it seems. I don't think he's got what he wanted here, so he's going to have to take the man-to-man fight, which may not be ideal at this point. He's already got a bit of a challenge coming from the other side. He's trying to find another route. This is the environment we're talking about. You're not locked into one approach. You find your own way through these maps. He's going to take himself the best he can around this map and find a better way to approach it. Again, still not in the perfect position for this sort of weaponry. He's got that scope on top.
Si admettons je suis tout seul, il va falloir vraiment que il va vraiment falloir faire face à beaucoup de troupes ennemies. Ce qui veut dire qu'également, même si le point est en pleine capture et qu'il reste quand même un peu de ta couleur, tu pourras quand même hip-hop à ces endroits-là.
Ça va permettre d'essayer d'établir des tactiques pour reprendre des points, ou éviter d'en perdre.
Oh, what did we see there? What did we see there?
And as you can see on the screen, here comes the armor training. Et là, je crois que ça, c'est effectivement voilà, le lance-flamme.
Qui s'attaque directement à un avion. On perd pas de temps.
Donc effectivement, là, la vue est un peu réduite.
C'est quand même assez handicapant au final, mais avoir la résistance de la classe.
But at the same time, it means that they can't be damaged from gas grenades. It's kind of like a little balancing feature.
Oui, effectivement, ça veut dire qu'avec son masque à gaz, il ne pourra pas craindre tout ce qui est gaz moutarde et compagnie. C'est également partie du gameplay.
Voilà, contrairement à l'autre classe dont on parlait plus tôt, la classe Sentinelle, qui elle n'a pas de masque à gaz, mais est lourdement blindée. C'est là justement qu'il faudra déployer des tactiques pour se débarrasser de la Sentinelle rapidement, avec en priorité, je pense, des armes à gaz.
Oui, voilà, c'est tout simplement, voilà, c'est ça, la sentinelle, tu fais ton stock de grenades à gaz et voilà, tu peux faire face.
Et t'en débarrasser le plus rapidement possible. Je pense que ces trois classes spéciales, justement, sont assez dangereuses. Ok, alors je viens d'entendre quelque chose d'intéressant. Le train peut être contrôlé par le joueur. Donc il peut être conduit d'avant en arrière, il peut être arrêté, donc il peut carrément stopper le train, le maintenir sur une position.
D'accord.
Donc on en sait un peu plus sur le déplacement. Ça donne beaucoup plus de liberté aussi, si jamais des positions doivent être prises, le train peut aider.
Ouais, c'est vrai. Peut-être là aussi comme couverture.
Exactement.
La prise de point est là. Je ne sais pas si tu as remarqué, mais le temps a changé.
Ah, donc voilà, on y arrive.
On y arrive. C'est vrai que c'est très immersif hein, de devoir le temps changer. Ouh, le corps à corps.
Le coup de baïonnette.
To see the bayonet going straight through his chest. That was a rather interesting. Just a good overlook here, actually, of the map, so you can see the scale of it. It is absolutely massive. Really love that spawn-in animation. Though you swoop down onto the map. It's really cool. And even here, you can see the scale. Look how far away from all the.
On voit à quel point la visibilité se réduit hein, avec cette tempête de sable. Ça va être beaucoup moins facile pour le sniper, je pense.
Mais oui, c'est clair, pour les snipers, ce sera un vrai calvaire.
They do have some fair speed on them. Those things aren't slow. They can surely pull yourself into the battle. So maybe look at those to pull yourself in towards maybe a more infantry style or sit back with the sniper.
100%. I mean, the train here actually is going down rather quick. We haven't seen a huge amount of gameplay of it, which is a little bit unfortunate because again, it's gone down very quickly. But what you can see is the British Empire have got control of about 4 of these flags, which is sort of put them behind a little bit because the Ottoman Empire came back into the lead there, but it's almost neck and neck.
Oh no!
100 points each. That was a rather epic little crash right there.
He can pretend he meant it by going to
bon bah j'ai l'impression que le train est HS.
Bah, il semblerait, ouais. Ça a pris un petit moment quand même.
And actually, the thing we're saying was that open terrain you had to traverse
il a
being
beaucoup de
such an issue.
résistance et
Actually,
il
now
n'est pas là
that
non
the train's
plus
been dealt
pour
with, you can see the plumes of smoke covering the
camper.
battlefield. You can use that as cover.
Yeah, suddenly that becomes like a barrier to the desert that's out there. There's like a strip of this smoke.
Et là, on est presque sur une égalité constante. Hein.
Ouais, exact, ouais, 105 à 106.
Ça reste très serré.
Ouais, tout à fait, ouais.
Further out to the left-hand side of the screen there, they're not going to see you on the
on
other
peut le
side
voir
of that
grâce à la
train, which
vue
is an interesting thing to think about.
globale.
Especially because the train station itself.
Voilà, tempête de sable au loin, c'est très très classe. Hein.
Oui, c'est joli.
C'est super classe.
So, although it's not exactly
Whoa,
the same
what is that in the distance? Is this what I think I'm seeing?
That looks
Excellent.
like a sandstorm.
That looks terrifying.
Et ça grossit de plus en plus, hein. Ça s'approche du champ de bataille.
C'est clair.
The life out of me. But oh my word, this is enveloping the whole map. It's just rolling in from the distance. Players are going to have to pull themselves into closer range here. Surely they can't play in this.
Because look, you can start to see the effect already. With 3 minutes of the
Ah mais
game
ouais,
to
d'accord.
go, with the score being
Ah oui, mais en fait, tu vois plus rien.
how is this going to play out?
Ce qu'on voyait plus tôt, c'était juste un petit coup de vent. Hein.
Yeah, this changes the whole aspect of the game.
Ah, effectivement, ça change vraiment tout l'aspect de la bataille là. Hein. Ça c'est.
Now, speaking of blink of an eye, you're going to be blinking for a while. You can barely see in front of your own hand.
Ça change tout complètement.
Incredible. This is going to be much better to be playing in this close range. You
Ce qui est
might
sûr, c'est que tu disais tout à l'heure, les snipers ont un peu plus de mal.
Ça va pousser au corps à corps même, je pense.
Ça pousse effectivement au cas quoi.
Donc tu sais pas trop où tu vas, tu peux rapidement être pris par surprise.
Definitely. I mean, one thing that the sandstorm does do is, as you said, it brings the gameplay in a little bit. But in this infantry-only area, it's put sort of like a grayscale over certain parts of it. But you'll see it's still very much visible. So perhaps we'll see a lot more gameplay in this infantry section, simply because the sandstorm has rolled in. And you know that going out into the desert at the moment, not being able to see 20 feet in front of you is probably a very
effectivement, là, la tempête, ça restreint pas mal d'options. Je pense notamment aux avions.
Qui vont avoir beaucoup plus de mal en effet.
Ouais, les avions, les véhicules également, qui pourront être un peu plus pris à partie par les fantassins. Et comme je l'ai mentionné tout à l'heure, évidemment les snipers qui auront des témoins qui devront tirer un peu plus à vue.
All over the place. But actually, looking at the score, the sandstorm is still there. The score is tied pretty much at 128 each, 127, 128.
C'est serré, et la tempête de sable ne s'estompe toujours pas. Hein.
This is Battlefield to me. These sort of battles, when it gets hectic, when it gets absolutely mad in these sort of aspects, now that sandstorm's starting to dissipate a little. You might start being able to see a touch more here, but still, vision blur, trying to find their way through. 55 seconds left, 131 tickets towards the Ottoman Empire against 131 on the other side. This is neck and neck.
Et c'est vraiment
it's 3 caps
que les choses
to
se
2 at the
passent
moment. Actually, no, it's
maintenant.
2-2.
Les deux équipes sont au coude à coude.
Quasi constante, l'égalité, ça ne bouge quasiment pas.
To the British Empire, and we could now see with the Ottoman Empire, it's still neck and neck with 30 seconds to go.
But at the moment, we're seeing them all stuck on that sea capture point. They've brought it back. Now they've got 3 under wraps here for the British Empire. So
L'objectif C vient d'être pris apparemment.
2 are being contested for the Ottoman Empire, so they might fall behind a little bit, but still it's up in the air. The contest is going on. 15 seconds remain. It's back to 137 apiece. I can't call it either way.
Et c'est une égalité parfaite là pour le moment. Attention au kill de la dernière seconde. Et voilà. Ah non, c'est sans contact des deux côtés.
3, 2, 1. That's it.
That can't.
It came as a draw! That's fantastic!
Do you know what? That deserves a round of applause. We got Darude, we got Sandstorms, and we got a draw. They're rarities in this game.
Do you know how many times?
That's amazing.
You must practice these things all the time.
Deuxième match de cette exhibition à Battlefield 1.
Égalité, mais on en a encore vu beaucoup plus.
Oui, clairement. On a vu l'aspect, le nouvel aspect de gameplay que procurait justement cette tempête de sable. Le fauve qui change, donc le field of view qui change selon le véhicule que l'on prend ou même lorsque l'on met un masque à gaz. Effectivement, vraiment, ça insiste beaucoup sur la fibre du match-up et le team play également.
Et l'immersion aussi.
Ouais, l'immersion avec en plus, sans mentionner les décors destructibles, la météo qui change, les chevaux également qui réagissent avec logique.
Sort of changed too much, and it was just this frantic battle going on all over the infantry section.
And these are the choices you have to make in Battlefield, though. Sometimes, classically in game types like this, it's do we keep going back into the same one, or do we try and go on that massive flank? That's a commitment of time. Do we have enough time to do it? You know, where are our respawns going to be? Where's my squad right now? All of these sort of questions come to mind, and you'll see experienced players weighing up those options. And sometimes the best thing you can do is got to go back into that meat grinder, got to go back in there and just face the music and hope for the best. But a draw. To players who don't play Battlefield yet, or they haven't tried out Battlefield 1 or the previous iterations, how rare is a draw? Just highlight this.
Extremely rare. Usually you're going to have a point
Alors donc là, les deux présentateurs nous expliquent clairement qu'il est très rare en général de se retrouver face à une égalité dans un Battlefield. Et ce, dans tous les jeux Battlefield, c'est très rare de se retrouver face à une égalité parfaite.
I'm thrilled to say this is going to come down to that final round. Even though it's not meant to be competitive, you're going to see these players getting riled up. I
C'est reparti pour la troisième et dernière manche
trust me, here at Gamescom,
de cette exhibition Battlefield 1.
Et
là, on est du côté de l'Empire ottoman.
That you're going to get. So guys, enjoy this one. It's all onto the Ottoman Empire, if I'm not mistaken.
It is
the British Empire picked up the first, then it was a draw, now it's down to this. This is what it's all about. Look at that gorgeous face. He's ready, he's focused, and we're back into the battle.
This, I think, is where you've now seen these guys on the map twice. We've seen them in the Sandstorm as well. They kind of know everything that there is to know, at least at an entry level now, of what's going on in this map. So, you might see some more maybe risky plays in the final round, especially if the Ottoman Empire.
On démarre directement avec les avions en plus, hein.
Then, you know, maybe they have to take some risks in order to try and get a few more flags than the British Empire.
Yeah, they're going to have to get off their high horse and get into the battle.
Here are the puns.
You just love the puns. I'm just going to keep throwing them out now. You know what I mean? Like this is my life. Horse puns. I haven't really trained ones yet, though.
One thing I will point out, whilst we look at the screen here, we look at actually these jeeps. It's rather interesting. The armoured vehicle has access to mines that come out. That was a rather funny.
Pas mal du tout.
Yeah, the armoured vehicles have access to mines that can be dropped out at the bottom of the vehicle.
C'est là que tu comprends la dangerosité d'un véhicule ouvert.
Exact, ouais.
Would damage the armored train. Now, the only way that you can damage the armored train with a mine is that you have to put the mine on the tracks. You can damage the train.
Mais un lance-flamme ici.
See, these sort of mechanics is what I love about this. Is you see players working out new aspects and burn, baby, burn. You're seeing the fire coming out and there's
Bon, ça semble très meurtrier ce lance-flamme.
Exact.
J'ai entendu une petite info aussi intéressante. Les commentateurs anglais disaient qu'il était possible de faire des dégâts au train en déposant des mines le long des rails. Ce qui peut être encore une manière de lui faire des dégâts et essayer de s'en débarrasser encore plus rapidement.
Voilà une manière des plus surnoises.
Ah, comme quoi, je pense qu'on va découvrir des techniques au fur et à mesure. Hein.
I just think they were really frustrated. You know, you got to take it out on something, and that window was there, and you're seeing the movement. Now,
On pourra tester tout ça d'ailleurs dans la bêta ouverte.
Qui arrive très bientôt.
C'est le 31.
Yes. Donc n'hésitez pas à aller sur le site de Battlefield Insiders pour vous inscrire à la bêta, à la fois sur PS4, Xbox One et PC via Origins. Donc cette bêta permettra de tester les modes conquête, hein, pour inclure jusqu'à 64 joueurs. Voilà, comme ici, qui lutte pour prendre le contrôle d'objectifs clés. Et le mode ruée, c'est un mode à 24 joueurs où le camp assaillant doit détruire les postes télégraphiques des défenseurs.
On jouera sur la même map. Hein.
Ouais, toujours la même map, ouais, la carte Sinai, celle que l'on voit actuellement.
En même temps, c'est quand même une bonne chose.
Ouais, c'est pas mal, ouais.
Parce que là, on est hypé par ce qu'on voit tout de suite et on va pouvoir y jouer.
Exactement.
Bon, bah, c'est parfait.
Yeah, there's loads of time. They're still trained. Cnanas gets flanked on by Anderzel. He was holding that position. He was trying to play hide and seek, keep up to what he normally does, but it doesn't work here. Anderzel's onto you. He's got things to do, and now he's going to follow up some more. Not going to get it that time though. He gets shut down in the end. That's what we wanted to see there. A little bit of a, you know, he's got to be reminded that he's human at this point. But still, let's take a look at how the landscape's evolving as well, because this is another factor here that, you know, the cover that once stood will be taken away, and already that train station is looking worse than King's Cross at this point.
You can see those two empty carriages there. They are obviously intact and full at the start of the round. They don't provide a huge amount of cover, but you know they still stand as structures, and you see somebody using it as cover right there. At the start of the round, they would have been, you know, more beneficial to use, but now it's like sort of looking through a fishing net. You can see straight through it.
Oh, that horse isn't going to be in a good way. Lovely covering fire. Let's see if the sniper can do anything.
Trying to do the lead here on the sniper with the travel time.
But look at the serpentine from the other
Là, on voit que le sniper est quand même très loin dans les rochers.
Ouais, une bonne vision, hein, le sniper.
Ouais.
Un bon champ d'action. Associé à une grande map comme celle-ci, ça va faire plaisir à plus d'un.
Avec justement, je me faisais la remarque plus tôt, toujours une super distance d'affichage. Hein. Vu la taille des maps, on a une super distance d'affichage, les snipers peuvent faire un boulot énorme.
Well, especially on maps like this, there's things called silhouetting, and it's more classical to maybe even other games, but you do see it in Battlefield on occasion. But here, on this sort of environment, you're going to see that very arid terrain in the background. If you silhouette over the top, if your player, the complete body, shows up against, you know, this blue sky, you're going to be a very easy target. You've got to run against those defilades, you've got to use the terrain to your advantage, and you're going to be seeing these guys trying to make a mad dash towards that sea point, try and get back over there, but there is no rest for the wicked.
There is not. I mean, we're seeing a lot of action on this map around the infantry zone, and something that we haven't seen, and I don't know, maybe this is just the people that are playing, but we haven't seen a huge amount of footage of the middle of the desert objective, the E point, and that's something that maybe we could get a good look of later. I'm not 100% sure. It would be nice to look at that, just so that you guys at home can have a good overview of the whole map.
Yeah, and actually just in
Here
case,
we go.
there it is.
Alors d'après ce que je comprends là justement, il est dit qu'on a vu peu d'images de la prise du point E qui semble se trouver en plein milieu du désert.
D'accord. Loin du petit village, quoi.
Voilà, c'est ça. Donc le commentateur disait espérer voir ça un peu plus en profondeur. Et j'avoue que je serais curieux parce qu'on a vu pas mal de points, mais c'est vrai que celui-ci, on l'a pas encore vu. On n'a pas encore vu de vraie bataille dessus.
Alors ce point E est mentionné dans la mini-map en bas à gauche. Mais voilà, vu qu'il n'y a que 2 points, le B et C, qui sont encore pour l'Empire ottoman, c'est un peu logique que les Anglais veuillent prendre ces 2 points et par la suite l'Empire ottoman protéger ces 2 points-là.
And that's obviously a very helpful tool for not only you, but the rest of your teammates who are in that location. And obviously they've then got to go and find that person. They could be on the 3rd story of a building, or they could be on the bottom, you don't know, but you have a
Alors, est-ce que tu l'as vu, la petite lumière du sniper au fond?
Non, je ne l'ai pas vu, tiens.
Alors apparemment le joueur a reçu une balle de sniper, mais la position du sniper était indiquée par le reflet de la lunette du sniper. Et on a vu au loin la petite lumière briller qui justement illustrait la lunette visée du sniper.
Tu peux lui donner un indicateur.
Ouais, exactement, et ça c'est pas mal.
Et là on a vu justement les grenades à gaz.
Contré par un masque à gaz.
Contré par le masque à gaz, probablement dans lance-flamme.
That's what I'm looking at, is how much does it feed into it. You can see the train station is going back and forth here. The snipers though are looking in their direction. You know that this cover is absolutely vital for Anderzel. He's going to be playing this as best he can. Deals
that was used.
Tu gagnes même de l'XP lorsque tu blesses le cheval, hein, c'était inscrit.
That was absolutely fantastic. That there was a really good piece of use of cover.
There we go. Now the horse.
See the horse is just there. It's ready for anyone else to take.
And you can actually see that on the map itself as well, can't you? It shows up as an icon, so you know where they're available if someone's on them or not.
It shows up as, I think it's a little horseshoe, isn't it? It shows up on the mini-map in the bottom left-hand corner. Now, the armoured train, as you can see, is on the right-hand side of your screen up at the top there. You can see it started to take damage already, coming down to about 80% health. It does have a massive amount of health, but like we were saying earlier, those explosives will do quite considerable damage against it. Looks like we're using the rocket gun here. I don't know if we're near the train at this point, because the rocket gun would be a really effective tool to use against it.
C'est parti pour le train, comme le commentateur anglais mentionnait. Il était déjà parti depuis quelques instants. Et le voilà en train de sévir dans le petit village.
Ouais, avec des salves constantes. Hein. Des avions qui se concentrent tout de suite sur le train.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if he's up in the sky all game, obviously you're going to be focusing on the other planes. But as soon as that train comes in, he's already got it in his head. He knows what he's supposed to do to get rid of it. And at the moment, even though they've had the train for about a minute or so,
ouais, clairement le train reste la cible à abattre pour les avions.
Well, they haven't taken the lead. That's the main thing. They've closed the gap. However, the HP is starting to dwindle. It's not looking so healthy here. They're still not getting much done. They have secured the train station point. So it gives you that as a back, a little bit of a back piece, a chest piece in your pocket almost. But if they could maybe go and capture the one all the way down there towards the west, the very deep
On voit que
west,
l'Empire britannique a très léger retard par rapport à l'Empire ottoman.
But still, 9 tickets in the lead here for the Ottoman Empire. They have the advantage, but it looks as though that one is done and done for. The smoke plumes and the train, well, comes off the tracks.
À mon avis, les joueurs ont vite compris la dangerosité du véhicule.
Ouais, c'est sûr, comme on a pu le voir tout à l'heure, les personnes dans le train dans la partie juste avant avaient bien fait leur boulot. Oh, c'est joli. C'est tout ce que je peux dire.
Ah oui, c'était très très joli.
All tag, no frag. That's fun. That's not fun. But looking at the points under wraps right now, the one thing we'll say
parachute là, c'était franchement pas mal.
Ah, il faut oser, hein. Il faut tenter les choses. Ouais, super bon boulot du sniper. Hein.
Qui, rappelons-le, sont tous des joueurs confirmés. Hein.
Ah oui, comme on a quand même beaucoup de youtubeurs, je pense qu'ils ont fait leurs preuves, ils ont fait leurs armes sur les précédents Battlefield. Enfin, beaucoup d'entre eux en tout cas.
Yeah, it would be the comeback of the century if it happens. We'll see if it does after that draw.
It would be a share of the spoils because then only one team has won one game.
Yeah, and it's all about pride here. Let's be honest. These guys.
I don't think anyone wants to share the spoils. It's it's on the British to actually go ahead and win this. The gap is still at 10 tickets at the moment. That must mean it's even with the tickets now being 10 apart. It's a very
et uniquement 10 tickets de retard hein, pour le Royaume-Uni.
Maybe the start of the round, the Ottoman Empire had the advantage, but the British have pegged them back a little bit, but they haven't really done much more to sort of get ahead.
Yeah, it's one thing to even it up, it's another to keep it and then, turn it to an advantage. It's not easy to do it. You have to weather the storm, not just once, but the reinforcements when they come through, take down these squads back to back, and the horse mounting looks awesome.
That was a lovely animation. That was
really
great.
cool.
I was just like, I haven't got time to sort of get on it properly, so I'm just going to jump.
Ah, tu vois là on l'a vu changer d'arme directement sur le
Ouais,
cheval.
prendre le fusil et ensuite,
Voilà.
ensuite
Twitcher sur le sabre.
It's getting a little bit hectic now. Last time actually it did help out for some reason the British Empire. I don't know why that seemed to help them a little bit more. Who knows? But already not going to go well there for one of the players. But this is very, very close at this point.
I can't see the storm coming in. It just looks as if there's an increased amount of wind, which is kicking up some of that dust, making it a little bit harder to see at longer ranges.
But let's take into account what we're seeing right now. Finally, we have the British Empire actually taking more flags than the opponent. They did for a little while. They had 4-3 and a little bit of a contest between the two, and already a little bit of a fly around here. Looking to see what happens. And Drunks, again, gonna try and find some sort of work. Suppressing fire gonna come through. He knows he's got to kind of pace himself with that sort of firing range, but his teammates are gonna do the job for him. And at the moment, the Ottoman Empire is still in the lead.
The British have reduced the ticket difference now to about 8, which means they've made a little bit of progress. But with only, I think that's 1 minute and 48 seconds now, that's still a rather large gap to have. But the British Empire do have control.
Presque 1 minute 30 au compteur.
This could be enough. You can see even in the chat,
6 tickets de retard.
they're trying to get these guys. Stop taking the needless battles. Get on those points. Get those flags in our favor, because we need this right now. The kills don't matter like they do before, not to the same extent. They don't affect those tickets like the flags do themselves. That gap is closing. We're down to 4 here. Westy, this is going all the way again.
We've got 1 minute and 20, and the gap is now down to 4, sometimes 3
Cette technique de kamikaze n'a pas fonctionné.
Ouais, c'était bien tenté, c'était très bien tenté.
C'était sans compter sur les bâtiments qui ont empêché l'avion de faire des dégâts. Alors on se dirige vers le point G.
And B's being contested, so that means they don't get the points for it as they would having 3. So again, this is going to come down. What's the time layout right now? We've got 55 seconds remaining. The fire's coming out. Look at these tickets. They are closing in again. This is going to be a 2-0 for the British Empire. If they pull this off, it would be the comeback of the century already. Not what you want to be doing with that gas mask. There we go. Put it on. Get into cover. And oh my word, what are you doing?
That was a big mistake.
Ah, il a retiré son masque à gaz un petit peu trop vite.
We are down to the last 30 seconds of the game. The tickets are still just a gap of 2 or 3.
Ça commence un peu à s'emballer ici, là, on peut le voir.
30 secondes, 2 tickets de différence, ouais. Très très serré.
3 of them over with the Ottoman Empire, and lots of them being contested all the time, which is why I think we're still seeing the gap. It's down to one ticket.
Est-ce qu'on va avoir droit encore à un draw?
This is what it comes down to. We need to get into the game to see this. 9 seconds, 8. The music's kicked up. The Ottoman Empire is in the lead by 1 ticket right now. The British Empire.
It's even.
Failli.
140.
Failli y avoir encore un draw.
It ticked over the final moment. Oh
un ticket de différence.
As if that just happened. As if that just
à 2 secondes, on était à 140 à 140.
We need to see the end of it.
Il est clair que dans cette partie-là, on était plus dans le contemplatif. C'était assez joli à voir, autant graphiquement que dynamiquement. Et surtout avec, avec toutes les nouveautés apportées au jeu. Ça apporte vraiment une plus-value au jeu, c'est vraiment intéressant.
Là, clairement, on découvrait en même temps que tout le monde. Il y a eu des très belles surprises.
This is how brilliant Battlefield can be in these sort of instances. When it comes down to neck and neck. I've got good news. You know, I like to be the bearer of good news, bad news, it doesn't matter, but this is incredible news. We've got one more round to go. And should we just say this decides it all?
Ah, donc une bonne nouvelle. Nous avons une dernière partie à jouer.
We're going to do one more game, and this is not what we had in mind. So guys, this is a bonus just because of how incredible this gameplay has already been. We're going to be jumping back in as soon as it's ready. I can't stop grinning. This is amazing.
I'm going to repeat what I said during the live stream, is that to get one draw is rare enough. You know, it's very rare that a teams are so evenly matched that it comes down to that ticket. But to have a situation again in the 3rd round where you're looking at no ticket difference with 2 seconds to go, that doesn't happen every single day on the battlefield. Usually you get a couple of tickets in it, but we've got 2 evenly.
Clairement, il est réexpliqué que avoir des égalités dans Battlefield est très très rare. Sur cette troisième manche, on était vraiment tout près d'une égalité à nouveau. Et bien on est parti pour une quatrième manche, la manche bonus.
Incredible to even consider, and this is what it comes down to, Westy. Where are our eyes going to be focused here at the start?
Well, again, I mean, I think the infantry section of that map, more so than anywhere else, played a huge part in that final score. We did see a lot more action in some of the bases that were a little bit further out, which was nice to see.
Yep.
We weren't just looking at the infantry section, but again, I think it's going to play a pivotal role because there are 3 capture points in a very small space there, and you can just sort of do a round robin and keep moving. But if
Tu me
the
parlais
enemy
du
team are
point
doing
E tout à
exactly
l'heure,
the
mais
same,
No one really benefits.
exactly, those flags are
je
going
suis
to
dans le
move
regret de
forward.
t'informer qu'il est
And that's
déjà
the reason we
capturé,
actually
donc on ne
saw
pourra pas le
the British
regarder.
struggle
Ah, on ne le verra
this
pas.
game in a little bit of a way. They didn't quite have the outer points. They were
F
struggling to really lock it
qui a
down.
son tour
But here we go. Let's
été
take
pris.
a quick stock as to what's happened.
Here
Oh
we
my
go.
word, that's a
It's a
long
power
old
drop.
dip dive. Gotta pull that. Pull
Pull
the
the
pull,
parachute,
please,
yeah,
please.
yeah.
Don't make me nervous.
So it's
All right.
early days in the round. We're looking
But
at
which points are with which team here?
which points are with which team. Well, let's have a look. I think the Ottoman Empire currently have control of A, B, C, and E, and the British Empire have direct control of D and G and are fighting to take hold of F. So at the moment, the Ottoman Empire are in the lead again, as they were in the last round.
L'Empire ottoman est un petit peu en avance là, au niveau des contrôles de points. L'écart commence doucement à se creuser au niveau des tickets.
Effectivement, très léger écart.
Ah mais on n'est pas à l'abri de se retrouver encore dans une situation comme la manche numéro 3 où l'égalité était presque là à la fin. Apparemment les deux équipes sont très équilibrées.
So you need to pay attention to that. Just because the barbed wire's there and you think you can jump over it, yes you can, but it will damage you when you do that.
Okay.
Looks like he's having a sleep on the railway track there, doesn't
snooze.
he? It's just
So
when that
old
train
film
comes
is
along,
tied up
that's
on
not
the
going to be.
railway tracks.
Yeah, when that train comes along, that's not going to be a pretty sight, is it?
No, it's pretty.
It's not going to be very good at all.
So, early dominance coming out for the Ottoman Empire here. They are in a very good position thus far, putting themselves up on
On peut voir un fantassin monter dans le véhicule en cours de route. Prendre le contrôle des canons.
J'aime beaucoup cette immersion lorsque tu es dans le véhicule. Et que tu rentres un petit encart uniquement pour viser.
Ah bah ça montre que les techniques de l'époque étaient quand même très différentes de ce qu'on a de nos jours. Hein.
Tout à fait. Liquide ici avec l'arme de poing.
Très bien rattrapé.
It's now just trying to convert these kills into actually getting map dominance, getting control of these points. As said, getting the kills wasn't the issue before. A lot of the players were just playing for that. But that's not just Battlefield.
No.
Battlefield is more than that here.
And as we've said a couple of times, and anybody who missed that in the earlier part of the stream, when you kill players in Conquest, that doesn't count towards the ticket.
On a vu plusieurs joueurs se parachuter, sentir que la situation était dangereuse dans les airs.
You're going to have a frantic moment trying to make sure that you've got more flags than the enemy team right at the death.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, though, you can see the lockout coming in for the Ottoman Empire. They're actually playing very well as a collective. They've stranded the British Empire towards pretty much that western front, almost the very far out reaches of this map, making them have to traverse that terrain that really isn't conducive to these players walking all that way. And it's a long old rotate to get to this capture point. However, they're going to take that challenge on here.
X Factor using the good old the good charge mechanic there, and obviously that means he now can't run. In fact, I think it was Stoder that was doing that. I do apologise, but you're using the tactic to get out of the way of the tank, but then that puts him at a disadvantage because he can't move fast enough once he gets towards the building, and unfortunately that led to his death.
Yeah, out of the frying pan into the fire, I believe.
Par contre, l'écart est bien plus creusé que tout à l'heure.
Ouais, l'Empire ottoman qui est en train de rouler sa bosse bien tranquillement. Avec pas loin de 30 de différence.
Ouais, on n'est pas loin. Ouais, on n'est pas loin.
rats are
plus
coming.
vers
No, but they are actually playing better as a collective to get those
19.
opening rounds down.
Le
They
rythme où ça
isolated
va
the British
aller,
Empire pretty far
on va
out.
facilement
Now the
atteindre les
tide's turning
30.
a little bit. It's still pretty close.
On remarque que le rythme de jeu s'accélère vraiment très naturellement au fur et à mesure de la partie.
Ouais, et puis on peut dire aussi également que les joueurs commencent à s'habituer au jeu en soi, à savoir
Aussi.
un peu leurs petites habitudes.
Ah, la quatrième partie, ouais, c'est...
Dans la même map qui plus est.
Tu commences à repérer quelques endroits intéressants, quelques tactiques.
Ouais, voilà, exactement, il commence à faire la différence.
Good view of the mechanic, the engineer mechanic.
Look at this lockout so far.
Yeah, oh wow, the lockdown is near enough complete.
Ah là, en plus, l'Empire ottoman a beaucoup de points à sa disposition.
And then one flag to the British Empire.
And this is how you
Ouais,
get those big
ça
leads
risque
building
d'aller
up.
un
This
peu
is when
vite.
you're gonna start seeing
Ouais.
the train have to be a counterbalance.
Je crois qu'il n'y a plus que le point G tenu par l'Empire britannique.
Et le point C
That's a
qui
good
est
platform to then push back into the village and
en
start
train
working their way back through.
d'être
Again, it works hand in
récupéré.
hand. Once you get one of those points under your belt,
Qui était
you can build
en
up the
train
back
d'être
of it.
récupéré.
Qui était, oui.
par l'Empire ottoman.
74 tickets to merely
Et là,
38,
c'est
although all of them are
totale
being
domination,
What is going on with the
This is
British
insane.
Empire? They all gone and
totale
taken a
domination
break.
de
What's
l'Empire
going on?
ottoman sur tous les points.
It was a nice takedown there.
But did he need to do that? He saw two players there and went, do you know what? I'll go for the takedown
Maybe-
rather than the kill.
Maybe it was a rush of adrenaline, like, you know, you're live on Twitch, you need to impress, so it could have been that. Again, we see a good use of the charge mechanic getting across the road there, but now he can't move very quickly inside this building. It's good that he's in cover. You know, that's a
On
good
peut bien
way
se
of
rendre compte de
using
la
the mechanic. You do
la
have to be
charge à la
careful if you
baïonnette, hein.
decide to leave yourself out in the open, and then that's not going to be a good situation to be in.
Again, though, this is what happens once these players get their head around the maps, how they work. Where can I use that bayonet charge? If there's cover I'm going to, that I can maybe, you know, hunker down in for a
Point
little
D
bit.
qui est en train d'être
Go ahead,
pris.
that makes perfect sense. But let's dive into the action and see how that's come down, because there's a lot of those points up in the air to start with. Now it's starting to come again, fall into the Ottoman Empire's hands.
Ouais, c'est très compliqué hein, pour l'Empire britannique.
Not one-sided, but this is the most drastic game we've seen so far. The pressure might be just getting to the British Empire. Are you okay down there?
I think he might be having a little bit of a problem.
He's struggling. It's tough.
You can see that the British Empire are trying to make inroads. They do have, well, they did have their hands on two objectives, but as you can see, the F objective.
Ah tiens, voilà, on le voit, ce fameux point E, vraiment à l'écart.
Et je n'avais jamais fait attention à cet avion-là, qui n'est pas comme les autres. Oui, effectivement, le point E, le fameux point E.
And they need it.
Où apparemment il n'y a pas grand monde sur ce point. Hein. Il était plutôt tranquille là avec son cheval.
As far as I could tell from that last shot there, at the moment it appears there's only a driver in this train, and already you can see the Ottoman Empire are all over the train. It's taken a little bit of damage, and it's not even come anywhere near the center of the map yet.
Now, I'm wondering
Il y a
who we
encore
have
une
in
fois
the
l'Empire
skies
ottoman
for
qui
the
creuse
other side.
l'écart
The
avec
Ottoman Empire,
50
who is
points
gonna be
de
the counter to
différence.
Okay,
We got Mr. Dalek JD.
Ah oui, tu parlais de cet avion-là.
Ouais, exact, tu as vu.
This could
Un peu
be
plus
one of the
imposant.
big issues here.
Ponyline is
Ponyline
at it
HD
again.
is the man in the sky. So he is the, I guess, if you want to call it that, a hard counter. He is defeatable,
100%.
but he is the hard counter. So again, you're seeing this going back and forth. And now he's got his eyes set on how to take down that train. Look at it, taking an absolute
lance
beating.
flamme ici.
Now 50 tickets in the lead. The Ottoman Empire is stretching their legs.
And a good
However,
shot of the flamethrower there. That was really good use of the flamethrower.
Wow.
He knew the player was a little bit too far away. He was taking a bit of damage, so he stepped round the corner, waited for the player to reappear, and came round with the flamethrower and just took him down.
that's just smart gameplay already coming
The
through.
train is down to a quarter of its health.
And what difference has it made? Let's look at the actual difference. It has given them stability here. That's
A
the only
little
thing
bit.
you'd say. It really has opted them a chance back in. It opens a window of opportunity, but they have to walk through it, and they've not done that just yet. The train's about to go down. It's done for.
Ah, malheureusement, le train n'a pas permis à l'Empire britannique de revenir au niveau des tickets, qui sont encore bien en retard.
One thing you've got though is I
En
think
retard,
maybe
même, j'ai
some
envie de te
people
dire.
have the concern that the
Ouais.
behemoths
On
are
est
too
quasiment à 5
powerful.
minutes de la
I
fin,
think
5 minutes et 30
single-handedly
secondes.
Ponyline has proven that is not the case. If you are skilled at doing something in
Ah, la
the
partie
game,
n'aura
you
pas
can
été aussi
counter
serrée que la
something that is
précédente.
Que les trois
powerful,
précédentes,
you've
même.
got
Que les trois
the
précédentes, oui,
opportunity
tout à fait.
to maybe use the behemoth against the enemy team, think they've got hope, and then it's already gone.
Je
Now
sens
this
que
is
nous
where
allons
things
avoir
get
affaire à
interesting
une
though.
tempête de sable.
Westy, this is when previously the British
Le temps
Empire
a déjà
did actually have
changé.
opportunities to turn it around, and they did that before. However, they have not had the same benefit off the back of the behemoth there. They've not had the great time, and you've just missed on the charge. Now you're in a bad position, but dancing around against each other. Take them down, but at what cost here? It's
Ah, c'est la panique au corps à corps. Hein. Quand la charge à la baïonnette est ratée, c'est tout de suite la panique.
Cookie crumbles. The Ottoman Empire is still massively. This is double the tickets here. They have turned up to play. They saw the challenge and they've taken it head on, and they've been outplaying the British Empire since the start now.
They really have, and do you know what? I do believe that if the behemoth had come along a little bit earlier, not that it does, but if it had come along a little bit earlier, I think the British Empire would have stood a chance. But with 4.5 minutes to go and a gap in the tickets of nearly 60, I don't really see a way that the British can turn this one round.
No, I mean,
which is a shame.
It would need a heroic effort, and it can happen. We're not saying it's impossible. That's the thing. It's
D'accord,
always
donc cette
possible
avion-là
at this sort
est
of
un
point. You've just got to
bombardier,
completely lock out the
comme on
opponent.
peut le voir ici,
Again, with that
avec
ticket
les
being
bombes
taken
qui
away
ont
for
été lâchées.
being rewarded for killing players and when they respawn. So that was the factor, is when they actually respawn, the ticket would drop down
fait un
as well,
nouveau
rather
support
than just the
aérien
kill itself. So that
pour
being
essayer de changer la
removed,
physionomie
it's
de
still
la
got
rencontre.
possibilities. You can lock teams
Ouais, on
down,
l'avait
you
pas
can
encore
still
beaucoup
make
vu
the
celui-là
moves,
jusque-là.
there'll still be a
Non,
squad
non,
into
non,
play.
C'est cool d'avoir pu l'apercevoir justement.
They're still pulling it a little closer, but not by much.
Not by a huge amount, no, not at all. I mean, the only saving
Sûrement le genre d'avion que tu as envie de prendre si jamais le train arrive dans l'équipe adverse.
C'est
clair, l'avion serait bigrement efficace face au train.
Going to make a difference at this late stage? With about 3 minutes left to go, that ticket gap is still very, very big. I'm not even sure they could turn it round at this point. Not unless the Ottoman Empire just stood still.
Yeah, that's the thing. Even just contesting points, slowing down the cap, would be huge for the British Empire. I think they'd start to struggle on that one. Again.
Ouais, clairement, ça va être sûrement compliqué de remonter là au niveau des tickets.
Too nearby him, however, you can see already they know there's someone there to take this fight.
Well, as you can see above the F icon there, you can see that little bar with the red and the blue.
Pour mettre un terme
au
jeu du cache-cache.
Ah, il a failli s'en sortir.
So here's an overview of the map, or there was an overview, and you can see it's kind of evenly split in terms of the flags that we've got, but that means that each team is gaining tickets at the same rate. So
bon, clairement, on n'est pas du tout en reste au niveau du côté épique de Battlefield. Hein. On l'avait dans Titanfall, on l'a dans Battlefield. Ça c'est clair et net. Et je me faisais cette remarque avec ce fantassin à cheval et la tempête qui arrive tout doucement derrière, ça reste super joli.
Taking down some of the buildings around him, trying to cause damage to the structures itself so he can allow his team to make the push towards, possibly getting towards B, opening up avenues of attack, and that looks like where they're going here at this point. A little bit of a fire coming down, and he does actually manage to find Dalek there as well, so still doing great deals of work.
Yeah, I mean, we're coming towards the end of the round now, and, it looks like near enough a foregone conclusion that we've got for the Ottoman Empire. And, it has shown off a lot today of the power that players have in Battlefield. It's not all about the equipment that you've got, it's about the person behind the equipment. Because it's quite clear that the Ottoman Empire have got some players on their team that really know how to...
Très joli qui au corps à corps.
It's fantastic to see. Again, I just can't wait to see more of this already. Already just getting a glimpse of what's been capable here.
Plus qu'1 minute 30 au compteur là. Hein.
Ouais, mais l'Empire ottoman a complètement dominé cette partie-là. 157 tickets face aux 94 de l'Empire britannique.
Ouais, déjà on se rendait compte qu'au bout de quelques minutes de jeu, l'écart était déjà un peu trop creusé pour pouvoir rattraper facilement. C'est un peu joué d'avance malheureusement. Moins que l'Empire ottoman arrête de bouger, pose les manettes.
Ça c'est clair, ce serait même compliqué quand même.
Ouais, ou alors faudrait faire beaucoup de kills très rapidement. Prendre toutes les zones très rapidement.
With the live stream coming to you over Twitch, you guys at home have had a really good look at what Battlefield 1 can offer you. The guys at Microsoft and Xbox who've put on this live stream today, thank you to them, because without them we might not have got to see this gameplay, but you have seen some absolutely amazing Battlefield gameplay. We think 2 draws in a row That barely ever happens in Battlefield. Not in the same server with the same players. That's just, you know, a true reflection of how balanced the teams are over there. But in this one here, with just 10 seconds to go, the Ottoman Empire have overpowered the British.
This has been a beautiful
Allez, c'est bientôt la fin.
what Battlefield 1 can bring to the entire gaming scene. This is what I'm
Juste avant la
excited for. This
tempête.
is what I turned up for here today. And there's a victory in the end.
Et c'est
For
fini.
the Ottoman Empire. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for them. They fought hard for that.
Ok, toujours bien de préciser que la bêta arrive bientôt,
That
le
was for
31
me,
août.
honestly, shout
Sur
out to
PS4,
them
Xbox
for
One et
this
PC
game,
via
you know, looking at those
Origins.
players. Even
Et le
I'm getting
21
really excited
pour les
to stand
Insiders
here, like,
Battlefield.
that was a draw.
Et
Another
également,
draw, going to a fourth round.
avant sa
You know, I mean,
sortie,
you've got Stoddard
pendant une
there
période
and
limitée
Drifter
pour
shaking
tous les membres
hands.
EA
We
Access
both
et
come away with
Origin
one win for
Access.
the British, one win for the Ottoman Empire, 2 draws in the middle. I mean, that's just, in terms of entertainment, you don't get much better than that.
No, you don't
Et on
get
espère
to
clairement
that
que,
game.
que cette séquence de gameplay, ce mode de jeu sur cette carte-là, vous a autant plu que nous.
Is gonna remember that series.
Clairement, c'était vraiment,
There are
encore une fois, hein,
a few
une
sort
super
of
expérience.
gaming moments that happen, but you know, to get 2 draws in a, I'm reeling from it. 2 draws in a row. That never, ever, ever happens.
What are your
Never,
thoughts on it?
ever.
We've had to bring on some comic relief. It was getting too serious here. We need to bring the man back up. Did you enjoy that?
But I enjoyed it. That was pretty amazing. By the way, I tried it by myself just to play Battlefield 1. I was like, whoa, don't get me in the front line. Don't do it.
Was it you on the British Empire in the last game that caused them?
He was the cannon
Yeah,
fodder,
maybe,
you know,
maybe,
guy right at the
maybe.
Yeah, he was just simply there and then gone.
Yeah. So you enjoyed it?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Really?
It was. I mean, you know, playing Battlefield 1 is very different to watching Battlefield 1, but even being up here, that was really exciting to watch.
Yeah. What about you, Lauren?
Hey, if I get to
Ouais, comme le disent les commentateurs, hein, regarder Battlefield 1 reste très appréciable, très excitant, mais jouer vraiment fera la différence.
Definitely. And even me. 'Cause I'm happy.
Tous les joueurs, tous les fans de Battlefield ont hâte de pouvoir mettre les mains sur le jeu.
Wasn't it?
Definitely.
Yeah, I
Lots of good games on show.
Yeah.
So, for me, it's I will continue being here at the Gamescom like for the next couple of days. But I tell you one thing, this grand opening was amazing. Also for me, all these interviews that we had with all the producers, we had much fun. Of course, we had much fun. I love that, like being in the back and just jumping around like I am on a horse. If we're talking about horses on Battlefield 1, let me beat a horse.
En effet, cette ouverture était très impressionnante, hein. On a eu beaucoup d'invités, beaucoup d'annonces, beaucoup de séquences de gameplay qui nous ont permis de vraiment se plonger dans Titanfall 2 et Battlefield 1. Énormément de news aussi sur FIFA 17. On a pu se rendre compte que les développeurs de ces jeux chez EA étaient toujours aussi passionnés.
Definitely, and just keep on rocking it. That's from my side. Amy is.
Is that it? Peace out.
Peace out.
Throw it up.
Yeah.
Any closing
All
words,
the
Wesley?
things.
This was fun.
Et bien évidemment, merci à tous de nous avoir rejoints. Pour ceux qui étaient à la Gamescom, merci à tous sur le stream. Et nous vous souhaitons de ce fait une très bonne soirée sur une petite touche de Battlefield 1.
The legend of Lawrence of Arabia dies